All right, so today is all about going through and putting together a new Whitewood. Whitewood number 4-ish, maybe 5, I forget. In my system, it's in Fusion 360, it says Whitewood number 4. I think I've cut a few more than that. Definitely wasted a lot more boards than just 4, but anyway. Yeah, so we got a new Whitewood because all these rough cuts we had on the last playfield, it's time to go through, measure them, get them in place, and hopefully have them turn out right. Between getting just like the diverter curve slot in the right space, in the right place, and then with how much I've been screwing around with the length of my playfield itself and how long it needs to be, I double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, septuple. I have checked my measurements so many times across so many different days. So I messed up, I'm going to feel really bad, feel really disappointed. But anyway, so we're going to go through, and I got a couple of just really quick clips showing me going through and doing a little bit of measuring, and then what it looks like in Fusion 360 with my new cut paths, and then a split second at the Makerspace, CNC. Let's just get through it, because then we got a lot of depopulating the existing playfield to time lapse through. But yeah, so let's get to it. All right, so that last picture kind of showed our final Whitewood cut there at the Makerspace. I want to talk just a little bit about this. So you may be wondering why I did things the way I did. I go through and any of my big holes that I cut, instead of trying to go through and use the pocket function and have it all slowly have all this wood get cut out, and drilled out, I just have it go through and do these lines that are almost connected. And then I can just grab my jigsaw and just kind of like cut them out really fast, and then just do a little bit of filing. To me, I feel like I'm not having to spend as much time downtown at my Makerspace where I'm just sitting there twiddling thumbs waiting for it to cut. So it goes a little bit faster, actually quite a bit faster. It takes just a tiny bit more to set this up in Fusion 360, but not a whole lot. Anyway, so that's why these look like this. They're not quite fully cut out, but now we're going to cut them out. So here we go. So there we go, all cut out. Now we just need to file it down a little bit. Now, again, this is not how I'm going to do my final playfield once I have something really ready to look good. It may or may not be the same playfield in Tacoma in a few weeks. We'll see how much further we get, but for now, this is just, it's fast. It still gets us what we need to do. Like, it's good enough, right? When we do a final playfield, we will go through and take the time to have it fully cut out nice and crisp by the CNC machine, but I'm all about saving time right now. right. There we go. Good enough. The biggest question is whether or not this is in the proper place in relationship to the staircase. I sure hope it is. I think it is. All right. Time to take off everything off the old playfield. So this pop bumper was way too close. It's pretty much kind of like underneath the side rail. So the new one, I moved it in just enough to where this will all be just inside that that rail, that 1/2-inch rail. So hopefully we won't have this issue again with it fitting. We'll find out. All right, here we go. It's all off. Now we just gotta remember where everything goes. Now, but look at this. Look at how ugly that cut was. All these. Whew. It's all part of the process, people. It's all part of the process. All right. One question you might have, I had, was like, what am I going to do with all these old Whitewoods, early versions? Yeah, keep them for posterity, for the museum. Nah, whatever, they're not worth it. But this one actually, I think I am going to keep because, as I think you're going to see in, if not the next video, one very soon thereafter, the wiring is a disaster. We've got, I think the rule of thumb should be, as soon as you add an additional controller board beyond that first 3208, it's probably a good sign you have enough mechs and things going on that you should probably get a little more serious about your wiring. And I didn't. And as you've probably, some of you probably were cringing in my last couple of videos showing the underside of the playfield, but my wiring has just become a mess. It went from, yeah, sloppy, but there's not much going on, I can keep control of it, to now it's just like, it's not good. So anyway, so all of that's just to say I'm going to keep this board. And what I plan on doing, I was, while I was waiting for the CNC to cut out my board last night, I'm sitting there watching it. I can't like abandon the CNC machine, right? So I've got my AirPods in and I'm listening. I'm going through and watching all the old making of videos that Stern had, all the way back to like WrestleMania. Man, they were so excited about that game. Anyways, I'm excited about my game. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyways, the reason I like watching those making of videos is because every once in a while I would get a glimpse of like their assembly line, and you can see how they're set up and how they're moving things along. And I'm really interested in the whole assembly line and how that how the actual assembly process takes place at like a real factory versus how I'm doing it. And particularly the thing I saw, and I'll cut to a shot of it now, was these ladies going through and building wiring harnesses. And if you can see what they have in the background, they basically have like this board with these pins or like these nails, and there's this like paper drawing. It's just like a CAD drawing, I think, or SolidWorks or whatever it is. I don't know. It's a schematic though that shows basically like where all the different mechs are, I believe, and it's telling them basically like, and there's lines showing like, you know, wires need to go to here, wires need to go to here, showing where all the different wires need to go, and kind of building a path of it. This is where we want to route the majority of the wires. So I'm thinking that we can use this board as that template. I don't have a printout. I haven't done that. But we can take it, and this will still basically tell us where all the different mechs are going to be and where wiring needs to go. Now, we still need to add in like a bunch of switches, and then we'll need to go through and do all the lighting. But still, even just for what I'm doing right now, that's my plan. I'm going to go through and kind of map out where wiring needs to go, and then we'll put in some little nails, and we're going to take a crack at building a wiring harness. So look forward to that coming up next, or soon anyway. So not going to throw it away. We're going to keep it. Look at that. Look at that nice curve right there. That's so much better. All right, let's see how this goes. You know, I said I checked and triple checked, quadruple checked and all that. Well, apparently I didn't quadruple, quintuple check exactly the spacing for these flipper bat holes because I don't know what these are not even close to lining up to what I had before. We're talking, we're a good 1.5 off. So from this playfield, center my holes, we are 9 5/8. And for these guys, we are 11 1/8. Yeah, like 9 3/4 is 9 5/8. These are so far inside. How did I ever calculate those? Looks like there will be a Whitewood number 5 in our future at some point. All right. I mean, I've got to adjust these holes. So that's what we'll do. All right, so I ran and got this. This is the old diverter number part of that right ramp. And because the one thing I never really double checked was the width of this upper playfield to make sure it fit with this. I did some measurements, but we know how my measurements have been going. So I brought it up so we can actually get it in here and make sure that this fits. So I line up this flipper hole, which is the one that's right. Okay, yeah, I've got like a 1/2 inch. Because I'd like to go just a little bit wider on this one because the upper playfield, the mechs were just so crammed in. If I can do another 1/2 inch, another 1/4 inch on either side, it'll give it just a little bit of breathing room. I think that'll be good. I'm going to go through and reassemble it all first with this existing piece of wood. Just kind of get everything in, the ball guides, everything. I'm going to do with that first before I go through and cut another piece of wood. Because, yeah, I'm a little gun shy right now. I will not lie. All right. now we got to figure out the subway again. Remember, we had the ball. The ball is going to come in here, go behind, and somewhere in here, behind, the ball is going to get locked behind this drop target here, right? Right, the ball is going to come in behind this diverter, and somewhere back in here, the ball is supposed to go down. And this, we're going to have a ball lock right here, so it's pretty much got to be kind of like in front of that line there. It's got to be in that area right there. But we've got a flipper mech that's going to be right underneath there. So I've kind of drawn where those flipper mechs are going to need to be. See, I can do it. I could maybe do it like that. It's right on the very edge. Kind of is interfering with where I have a couple of posts coming down to support that upper playfield. If I do it like that, then I've got this space. I've got to see if that space corresponds to that space I'm looking at on the other side. So we're going to see. I'm not sure how best to figure that out other than maybe drill a couple of holes. So I might just drill a couple of holes because, you know me, I like to drill holes. And then the right flipper, though, this is the more problematic one, really. Say that this works and the ball gets diverted. Again, here's the diverter, right? So the ball's coming through this path, and then instead of continuing around here, it's going to come behind. So I think this is going to be an okay place for the ball to drop down. All right, it's going to be plenty far behind. I think that's going to be okay. But then we have to bring the ball back over to here, and we don't have, with this mech I put in here, we don't have much room with this right flipper, and there's not really. That doesn't work. Not really any other better way or place. I think that's our best alignment. We've got a little bit of a gap right through here. Oh, but not much, huh? So that should work. Okay, so we can get the ball down. But then it's getting the ball through all of this. I wonder if we move this mech. I don't know, it's an idea. It's an idea. Might be stupid, but it's an idea. I don't know how far we could move this though, not a whole ton. Moves it about a 1/4 inch up is all. So that worked as far as the perfect place for the ball to drop. So we definitely have a good ball hole. Entry point. So that's going to work for bringing the ball out. That's going to be good. So we got a ball that comes from here and comes down. It has to go right through here. That's going to be tight. Not really anywhere else. We can't bring it. Ooh, I wonder if we could. There's an idea. What if we kept it where it was? What if we kept that where it was? What if the ball came through here? Beneath the stairs. Because the stairs are going up, and so they're not. Whew, that might still be tight, but might have to get the staircase installed and see. It's going to be tight either way. It can either go right between here, which I'm not sure if that's going to work, or we could maybe come right behind this mech. We can get pretty close to that. I wonder. There might be more room for it right here. This path. You guys seeing that? Might be more room for it coming down this path. All right, so I went ahead and put the stairs back in, and I feel pretty good about it. This is about where the stairs are going to be, and you can see there's a lot of room here between where the stairs actually pop down. And so I've probably got to about here, about half the stair length back. And so that should give me enough room to cut across here and not be too close to that mech, just hug right behind it. So I feel pretty good about that. I think that's going to work for the subway. We're going to take this path. That's what I'm going to measure out. Feel good about that. Really, the last thing to check are the ramps. This one, I know we've got some wiggle room, so I'm not worried about that. I feel good about those cuts. These I had to adjust a little bit, where the pop bumper is and these drop targets, because remember I was trying to get myself about 1 inch of space down here, and so I need to get this ramp installed and get those shots back in and make sure that all fits good. Remember this guy? We haven't played with him in a long time. So I think we're pretty good. This felt a little tighter to me than the other shot, but I measured out my other playfield, and it's pretty much identical. So I think we're good here. We've got the shot we can make through here, and yeah. I think we're okay. It's a little tight, but I'm going to go through and finish putting it all back together, and then we'll jump into wiring it back up with a wiring harness. Once we get it all connected and play, we'll play for a little while and make sure these shots are good, see if anything's off. But I think we're doing pretty good. Other than that dang flipper hole, I think all the other measurements were good for the cut. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at in the Whitewood, other than the horrible placement of that flipper bat hole, which I feel horrible about, but we'll fix it. Everything else I think is working out really good. The lower third L came out great. This might be a little tight, but I think we're going to be okay. This came together pretty good. We'll need to get it all wired back up, and with some updated ball guides, now that we've kind of changed things a little bit, play test and make sure that part's working. But even if it's not, we can tweak that a little bit. I think we're going to be okay. And let me just tell you, I forgot to show you how I did this part. This is the thing that I'm most proud about. The hole, or the cut for the diverter right here, getting that, I mean, just like perfect that first time. So I forgot to kind of walk you through how I did that. It actually was pretty simple. So let me flash over here. I'll bring up the screen here at Fusion 360. What I did was I took the piece that, you know, the 3D model of this horseshoe diverter, and then I brought it into the file with my playfield, literally just like shoved it up through the playfield to where it was sticking up through it. And then I increased it by about 5%, so I scaled it up, universal scale by 5%, so it'd be just a little bit fatter, a little bit longer. And then I used the Boolean action to combine shapes, and I had the wedge cut a hole in the shape of the wedge out of the playfield. So I went through and did a little cut action. It's a fun thing you can do in 3D modeling. Take a shape, combine them. You either just have, like, you know, the combined shape be the two of them combined together, or you can have one be basically used as like the cutting tool. When it gets wherever it intersects another object, it'll just like make a cut, right, for however thick or however big it is. So it can chop off a piece or put a hole through something. So I just use that, and so I just subtract it, and that subtraction action. Hey, subtraction action. But it worked great. And all I had to do was just, before I did that action, I just had to go through again with my measurements, and this time I got it right, and measure very carefully exactly where that diverter lined up on the playfield. And I feel like we got it spot on. It's looking perfect. So not everything got miscalculated. All right, guys, that's it for today. Next thing is going to be working on that subway and then our wiring harness. So lots more to come. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.